The LA riots are worse than you think, and I mean way worse. We've got footage you've never seen, angles they're never gonna show you, and a level of political insanity that's getting totally buried. Maxine Waters was caught on camera inciting National Guard troops, then getting a door slammed in her face. This is gonna be a wild ride. And up first, CNN decided to kick things off with their favorite fairy tale, calling it all peaceful protesting, because nothing says peace like fires in the streets and people running for their lives. This is Andy with TrendingPolitics.com. Hit like, subscribe, and let's dive right in.
So there's unrest. Let's start with there's protest, lawful protest, which is allowed in this country. There is some unrest generally dealt with by local law enforcement, and if there needs to be state support through state police, and sometimes even National Guard under a governor's authority. What is happening tonight is unprecedented.
Now that we've cleared up the fairy tale version, let's talk a little bit about what's really happening behind the scenes right now. This next clip shows U.S. Customs and Border Protection agents driving through chaos while getting pelted with rocks. These guys were navigating a war zone because that's exactly what it feels and looks like. Take a look. If you watch closely, a rock comes flying straight through their windshield at the end of that clip. Just imagine headlines if that had happened to anyone else. And speaking of war zones, watch what happens next. Rioters straight up try to murder cops by chucking rocks at their vehicles. And here's an interesting thought for the comment section below. Let me know whether you think the FBI is going to track down every single one of these people. We know they have the ability to track these people down, just like they knocked on the doors of thousands of actually peaceful January 6 attendees. They even knocked on my door twice, and all I did was stand on the steps of the Capitol singing the national anthem with other law-abiding citizens doing the same exact thing. And yet they knocked twice. Let that sink in. Take a look. Now let's talk about Maxine Waters. This woman actually had the nerve to incite National Guard troops on camera. She's out there pointing fingers and inciting the troops on camera like she's actively trying to escalate the entire situation. And this is the kind of leadership that fans the flames instead of putting them out. Take a look.
What are you going to do? You going to shoot some kid who's afraid of you and run? You going to shoot an elected official? If you shoot me, you better shoot straight. I don't know why you're in my city. You did, the governor was not contacted. This is Trump and his outrageous attempt to not only target our sanctuary city, but to frighten us and intimidate us. This is wrong, and I hope that none of you will use those guns to shoot anybody. There's no reason to shoot anybody. Don't allow them to make your service in a service where you're killing people. Don't do it. Defy them. Don't shoot those guys for anything.
Thank you. Thank you.
Did you hear her reasoning for why the troops needed to be there? Because it's Trump trying to ruin things for her sanctuary city. Well, newsflash, if they didn't have a sanctuary city in the first place, none of this would have been happening. If they followed the law in the first place, none of this would be happening. And then she had the audacity to ask why troops were even in her city. Maybe because the leadership let it burn to the ground while they played these political games. But here's my favorite part. Watch what happens when she tries to enter an ICE facility without permission. Federal agents don't play games, and they definitely don't take orders from Maxine Waters.
No, I want you to... Hello. Congresswoman Waters, I just came to use my congressional authority. to check on Daisy.
Ma'am, we're logging securely now to all visitors.
Excuse me, I need to get in.
Contact our public apparel.
I need to get in.
So who do the city leaders blame for all this chaos? You guessed it. Donald Trump, because apparently enforcing the law is more offensive than torching your own city. Here's a clip from the mayor just outright blaming Trump.
To me, it just seems like this is intentional chaos. You know, I had talked to representatives of the Trump administration earlier on to tell them that the Los Angeles Police Department could control things that were happening here and that there was no need to federalize troops. And so to have this here is really just a provocation and something that was not needed in our city. It is most important that everybody be allowed to exercise their First Amendment right, but it absolutely has to be done peacefully. Now, with federal troops on the ground, we do not need to have our city under siege. I remember the last time federal troops were on the ground here, and it was in 1992 when there was massive civil unrest. Nothing like that is happening here.
Nothing like that is happening here. Trump calls on Tom Homan to arrest Gavin Newsome. Yeah, the gloves are coming off. You'll want to watch this clip twice. Take a look.
Newsome he's daring Tom Homan to come and arrest him. Should he do it? I would do it if I were Tom. I think it's great. Gavin likes the publicity, but I think it would be a great thing. He's done a terrible job. Look. I like Gavin Newsome. He's a nice guy, but he's grossly incompetent. Everybody knows. All you have to do is look at the little railroad he's building. It's about 100 times over budget. We're putting a flagpole over there. Under budget. I always do under budget.
And while this is all going on, protesters staging a sit-in at the Trump Tower are being arrested in droves. And nothing's better than watching these leftists get arrested. Take a look. The media will never admit how out of control all of this really was. They'll gaslight you with words like peaceful while the footage speaks for itself. These weren't protests. They were political explosions fueled by failed leadership and double standards. And you saw the truth. Now make sure everybody else does too. Like this video, subscribe for more, and share this with somebody that needs to see it. This is Andy with TrendingPolitics.com. Stay informed, stay vigilant, and I'll see you next time.